Hello, this is Andy Freisteller. I'm in the outreach section of Computer Science 6626. So this recording is coming to you from Panama City Beach, Florida. This is my project presentation, Bringing Mobile Fitness to the Pool, Viability of a Custom Mobile Workout Generator for Swim Training. So let's get started. As I began my background research for this project, there were a few interesting papers that I came across as I focused my research on mobile applications and fitness applications. The first one up there, bulleted, really kind of talked about having diverse groups in your set of users for mobile applications, which was interesting because I have that in this project as well. The second was talking about motivational aspects, and they really found value out of using a virtual 3D assistant, kind of like what's in the Wii Fit. And then the third one there was a paper talking about the main design implications for doing mobile, and it had a strong focus on grouping your functions of your applications into valid positions, as well as presenting themselves correctly within lists. In order to facilitate the discussions with PCST to start off with, we developed wireframes, two of which you see on the screen here. This is the home screen for the application, as well as the settings screen for the application, where users can go in and edit the settings that are going to drive their workout that's presented. So this slide's going to be too hard to make out, but you'll get the gist of it. So we had the meetings with the client. We kind of iterated over our wireframes a little bit, and then we took it to the next step, of course, with our conceptual model. What you see on the screen here is taking those wireframes and putting them into an iOS piece of hardware and widgets and such. So this prototype, this conceptual model, led to a paper prototype, which we then used for doing our usability survey. Throughout the project, we used a Scrum process, did a kind of an agile Scrum process with 3-week sprints. There wasn't really a big deal about how we did that, since it was just myself and the client interacting, but we did keep a backlog, which then allowed us to easily come up with our future research initiatives. Yeah, like I said, it was a collaborative effort with PCST, and our deliverables were the paper prototype, and that was developed primarily with 2 tools, and that was the GNU Image Manipulation Program, also known as the GIMP, and I used an online tool called Wireframe Pro to develop both my wireframes and my conceptual model images. It's really cool. It allows you to create the images and then link them together to create a nice interactive prototype. And I would highly recommend you guys check it out, looking for a similar tool. So once we had our paper prototype, we developed a usability study that we would use to do the testing of it for this first iteration. And we decided to go with a remote testing method so that we could gather a few different things over a period of time. And it had 3 sections to it. So the first was biographical, so we can get information about the person themselves, and also make sure that they had the skills required in order to take the test. Did they have iOS ability? Were they swimmers? What type of swimmer were they? So it had that. It had a scenario that walked them through the prototype and asked them to, to complete tasks with paper-based, so we had them indicate where they would touch by circling parts of the screen. And then we had them do a perceived usefulness and ease of use survey at the end to get an idea of how usable the design was and the value of the application. And here is just a small snapshot of part of the biographical section. You can see we used a 5-point scale for our questions where possible. We made the colors all auburn-like. It was pretty cool. So this is a screen with the results from the survey. So first of all, the survey itself, the usability study itself, we did it over a weekend at a USA swimming meet in Pensacola, Florida, where we had access to swimmers of a variety of ranges. We ended up having 8 swimmers fill out the study over the 3 days, and they ranged from recreational swimmers that had been only swimming for a year up through NCAA and Olympic trials qualifiers. So a vast range of swimming ability. We had 8 complete the survey, 3 of which identified themselves as recreational and 5 of which identified themselves as competitive swimmers. They ranged in age from mid-20s to mid-50s. And here's the results. It was interesting and actually very clear. So the results tell us that our application was very usable in a high-level design sense, that it was very useful and that it had a lot of value. People would use this thing. Surprisingly, they said that this application would help motivate them. That wasn't really one of our initial goals, but it was nice to see that. And that, again, the design was fluid, flowed well, had good feedback. People liked to be able to go back and see things from screen to screen. However, there was one big problem indicated, and that's the last row of the table there, and that's that people from the home screen had a hard time selecting the right icon to get to the areas of the screen that the scenario prompted them to get to. So we know right now that it's actually one of the issues that one of our papers in the background section addressed, was that we did not do the best job that we could have with organizing the functions of the application into groups and correctly labeling the text with those. You know, part of it was our design tried to be very streamlined, and it might have been too streamlined. Identifying future work is actually pretty darn easy. The first bullet is taking the feedback from the usability study and doing a second iteration of the design. The second bullet is taking the items identified in the background work, such as a virtual assistant, and integrating further motivational aspects into the application. The third bullet is identifying the algorithm to actually turn the settings into the workout that we present. Right now, we show the inputs and we show the outputs. We don't have the line drawn from get to A to B. The fourth bullet is expanding this thing from competitive swimmers and recreational swimmers to triathletes. There's also a very big triathlete community here where I live. And the last bullet, of course, is go build this thing. Right now we're doing designs. We could spend some time actually doing the Objective-C and building the application. So that's it. It was a very fun and interesting project, and I would encourage anybody that has any questions or feedback to contact me. My email address and Twitter account are at the bottom of the screen. So thanks for taking the time to listen to this, and War Eagle.